Hello, Hardies all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is so exciting to have you joining us today for a live event celebrating the season 8 of When Calls the Heart. You know me, I'm Deidre Behar with Entertainment Tonight, and I'm so excited to be joined by a few of my favorite faces from Hope Valley. Please help me welcome a few of the stars of When Calls the Heart, Erin Krakow, Chris McNally, and Kevin McGarry. Hi, you guys.
Hi, Deidre.
How we doing, guys? How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah, no complaints.
How are you feeling?
I'm very excited about season 8 of When Calls the Heart. I have so many burning questions that we will get to in just a moment. But kind of before we start, I obviously want to acknowledge that we're still virtual. I wish I could give you a hug in real life. But, we've had some fun conversations over the last year through the internet. And I want to just check in, ask how you're doing. Chris, let's start with you. How's the vegetable garden going at home?
It has not begun yet. I'm about to start doing some things inside, my tomatoes and whatnot, trying to learn from some mistakes I made last year. I made several, but I'm excited. I think this summer we're going to be the goal is to not need to go to the grocery store. That's the idea. And I think we can achieve it.
All right, farm to table in the McNally household. I love that.
Correct.
Erin, how are you doing? Are you still working on that karaoke song?
So, working on the karaoke song. This is a great question. No. Short answer, I think I failed. I am keeping an ear to the ground for songs that excite me, but no, I think I haven't really found it yet. I haven't found the right song.
What's the holdup? Because fans are dying to get a little glimpse into whatever it may be. Is it karaoke you're working on? Are you baking brownies? We got to see you doing that last year. What have you been up to?
I don't even know what I've been up to. I stopped with the baking because that was clearly a disaster, although an entertaining one. Well, wait a minute. That's not true. Actually, we baked a bit this season, didn't we? We baked
some successful cinnamon buns.
That's kind. They were successful. The cinnamon buns, it was a group effort. The chocolate chip cookies were subpar, though. Agreed?
We can do better.
They were a little on the salty side.
I like salt a little too much.
This was my fault. I think I did like salted butter, plus I added in the salt, plus we did Chris's signature sea salt flakes on top. It was a lot of salt.
Can I ask, was this like a cast bonding activity, like a great When Calls the Heart bake-off?
Chris and I lived very close together, and so a few of us got together to bake a few things. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, we'll have to check back with you for that recipe. Maybe a little less salt, but we definitely want the cookie recipe.
Great.
And Kevin, what's going on with you? Have you been
riding the motorcycle? No, it's like minus 20 degrees Celsius here. I've been working on it a little bit in the garage. You know what I've been doing actually is I've been purging a lot of stuff. I've been going through boxes of things that I've just collected over the years that I don't need anymore, and I'm just kind of minimalizing the clutter in my life. That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. What were you going through? Was it clothes, old baseball cards? What was it?
Oh, just baggage. No, just emotional baggage. No, just like things that I've had, books and I don't know, just old clothes, trying to give them away and stuff. Just things that, I don't really need anymore. So yeah, It's a good time to do that right now.
Yes, of course. Well, I'm happy to see that you're all happy and healthy, and of course here to celebrate season 8 of When Calls the Heart, which is premiering in just a few days. Kind of tell me how you guys are feeling right now and how excited you are for this moment.
It's been a long time since we've been in Hope Valley, and so I don't know, I feel just as excited as the Hardys to get back there and share these stories with everyone. It was such a bright spot to be able to reconnect and reunite in Hope Valley. And get back to work together. I think it was really needed and appreciated. And so it'll be really fun to get to share all that with the viewers.
Chris, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm excited because this happens every year where we film, we shoot the whole season, and so we've all experienced it, and then I forget about it, and then several months later, we're like, "Hey, you ready to start the season?" When we already did it. So I feel like I get a second chance I get to relive it for a second time, alongside the Hardys, and it's fun. So I usually, I find that I forgot what we shot, so I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Surprise myself.
I get to, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. You film it and then you kind of get to almost relive it like us, like as a fan watching it week by week on TV. Kevin,
Exactly.
how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think the exact same as Chris. You know, you go in there and you spend so much time kind of focusing on your storyline and what you're bringing to the show. So it's fun to watch and kind of see this entire world happen with all these characters that, I just, it's not that I was ignoring, but just that I,
You gotta do your job.
You can be honest, Kevin.
Whoever's on this, Pascal. Yeah, but it'll be great to kind of, see all the other storylines. And just kind of, I'm excited to see how the fans are going to like season 8, because there's some really great storylines in it.
Well, I have a funny feeling that they're going to be moved and it's going to be heartwarming and it's going to take us on a real roller coaster of an adventure. Before we get into it, I kind of just want to back up for a second. Of course, the season 7 finale ended with quite a heavy moment and a cliffhanger with Elizabeth in Nathan's arms when we thought there was a possibility we could have lost him there. Erin, can you share with us where season 8 is going to pick up?
Shortly thereafter. Time in Hope Valley is a bit of a fluid thing, but I'd say a couple months maybe. And the thing about the time that's passed, though, is that we're telling the story as if Elizabeth and Nathan haven't really spent too much time together within that time. He's been traveling. And the same with Lucas. He went off out of town. And so though time has passed, we really are kind of getting the opportunity to pick up right where we left off, at least in those relationships between the characters. So it'll be exciting to see where things pick up. I mean, I know where things pick up, but I think everyone else will be excited to see it.
Kevin and Chris, can you share a little bit about where Nathan and Lucas's mindset is at, kind of in the aftermath of that, very traumatizing experience at the end of season 7?
For Nathan, I think he's had his world kind of shook a little bit, and he's starting to put things more into perspective of what he wants and what he's willing to give up to go after the things that he wants.
My turn?
I think so. I thought you froze, so I was like, do I keep talking?
Lucas takes some time away. He leaves Hope Valley to kind of shift his perspective and recalibrate. And then once he's found that, he decides to come back, and that's sort of where we pick up Lucas re-entering Hope Valley, and basically just wanting whatever's best for Elizabeth, whatever that might be.
And I hope I can speak on behalf of all Hardys that that's truly what we want at the end of the day. We know she's got 2 amazing guys to choose from, but we want Elizabeth to do what's best for her and follow her heart. And Erin, I just want to quickly point to a moment that we recently saw in the trailer that just dropped. Elizabeth, very emotionally, takes her wedding ring off. And I would just love to know from you, what do you think that symbolizes? Was that emotional for you to film that scene right there?
It was something that we had been talking about for a long time, actually, finding the right moment to do something like that. And there were moments where we thought, well, maybe we'd try and squeeze it in, but it really wasn't until, I'll just say toward the very end of this coming season that it felt like the right moment to make that move. So it was emotional, sure. Yeah, it's a big step for her. And what was the other part of the question? I forgot.
Where's her heart at right now? Because that's a big step.
Right. Well, I think what it's signifying is a more concrete display of, all right, ready to move on, ready to fully embrace love and all that comes with it, without the constant visual reminder of her past love. So I think it just makes things a little bit cleaner.
Well, I love that you use the word cleaner, but I have to imagine that the back and forth between Lucas and Nathan as they try to earn the affection of Elizabeth, I have to imagine that there's going to be somewhat of a roller coaster ride. Kevin, let's start with you. I'm curious about where Nathan's mind is at right now. Where's his heart at? Is he going to be, kind of respectfully pursuing Elizabeth, like, sort of a more laid back approach like we've seen in the past? Or do you think he's going to sort of bump up the confidence and kind of go after her with a little more kind of directness?
Well, I know what he does. I don't think I know he does bump it up and kind of start putting, like I said, put things into perspective of what he wants and kind of fully goes for it. You'll see in the first couple episodes just what he's willing to give up to get the things that he wants.
The things that he wants.
Well, maybe it's not just Elizabeth. He wants some other things.
True.
Not saying Elizabeth is a thing. Oh no, I've gone down a path. How do I get out of this? Is there a reverse?
Elizabeth is a queen. I think we all agree. Elizabeth is a true queen.
Yes, a queen. To get the queen that he wants.
Nice.
Well, we know that Lucas is also vying for Queen Elizabeth. What is Lucas's approach this season? Because we know that he's no stranger to really romantic grand gestures. Is that going to continue in season 8?
There are some romantic gestures, I would say. Yeah. I personally don't classify them as these giant things. It's more a dinner, and if you consider that to be a big deal, cool. If not, great.
It's the love that goes into them.
He's so laid back.
But yeah, again, I think Lucas struggles a little this. Oh, actually, I don't know. I can't give away any spoilers. I'll just say again that he wants what's best for Elizabeth. And there's a little bit of, is it the same as what Lucas wants? Is it not? I don't know, but he wants her to be happy.
And that's very, very fair. Before we kind of get into your individual storylines, outside of the suitors and Elizabeth, I'm just curious, Erin, for you, what do you think is ultimately going to tip the scale for Elizabeth? What is it that she's looking for, and what are the qualities in each gentleman that you think really appeal to her?
Well, I think they're obviously the sort of checklist items, right? She wants to find someone who's going to be a great father figure to her son. She wants to find someone who's going to be supportive of her interests, someone who's kind and thoughtful and funny and sensitive and a good listener, all those things that you look for in a partner.
Tall, brown hair.
Tall, brown hair.
Really nailed it down there.
Definitely tall, definitely brown hair. Would be nice if you could ride a horse. I don't know. I think, though, her journey through this season toward making that decision is just about listening to her heart and her gut, and really, really listening to that voice within, and figuring out who is the person that's going to be her next and hopefully final great love. As far as qualities in these two gentlemen that really stand out, I think we're talking about characters, right? Because
yes.
there are many things that I admire about Kevin and Chris. I could go on and on.
Share those as well.
Go on.
Yes.
Please do.
Well, one of the things that I think Elizabeth really appreciates about Lucas is that he seems to really care deeply about her interests and what inspires her. So he's always supporting and championing her as a writer. Obviously, you know, she's passionate about teaching, but the writing is sort of like that secret dream, and he wants to help support that. And so I think that's a really loving quality. And as far as the quality in Nathan, he is incredibly protective of Elizabeth, and he's also someone who has experienced a similar kind of loss. And so I think these two people connect on a very deep level through their shared experiences. And it's just it's a very beautiful connection, and I think there's a lot of love in that as well.
I gotta be honest, I don't envy Elizabeth. She's got a very tough choice between the two of them. It's tough. And I know that you guys have already finished filming season 8. So I want you to give me your best poker faces. No spoilers here.
Oh, no.
I'm just curious how you feel knowing that Elizabeth has made her decision. Are you happy with her decision? And how do you think the fans are going to feel?
Best poker face?
Best poker face.
Fine.
What is it you say in the States? I'd like to plead the fourth.
Plead the fifth?
The fifth.
The fifth. That's what I'm going to do. I like to plead the fourth.
I want to plead the fourth.
I don't know what the fourth is.
What's the fourth? We got to find out what the fourth is.
I want to know what the fourth is, because
what did Chris just say?
what did he just plead?
Guilty?
Yeah. I did.
No, but seriously, no spoilers.
Okay.
As actors, as fans of the show yourself, I hope you're fans of the show. What do you think about the final decision, and how do you think fans are going to feel?
Well, I will say it is about time, and I think that the fans will feel similarly. They're just like, let's wrap up the triangle so we can get started with the love story. I think they're ready, and so I think they will be very happy that we have a decision. That we have a decision this season. You know, look, we have gone down the path of teams. And so one of those teams is going to be probably disappointed. But please know that we have very big plans for that team. And assuming we get a season 9, that team will find great joy. Oh my gosh, this is impossible. How am I supposed to answer this question?
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is handled with a lot of care and class and as much empathy as we could muster. And I just hope that the fans continue to trust us as we navigate this delicate journey together.
And I know that. Oh, go for it.
I was just saying, you know, it's so nice to kind of like, it's no secret that there's passionate fans on
what?
Believe it or not. On either side of, on each team. And, you know, to be, you know, you read some of the stuff, you're like, wow. But to be part of something that is giving entertainment and joy right now, especially, is just, it's so nice. Like, you know, and, you know, of course, like Erin said, you know, the losing team, if we want to look at winners or losers, because, you know, the story goes on. But the team who doesn't end up with Elizabeth will essentially, like, you know, we'll move on. There will be other stories. And, you know, as much as it is who's going to end up with Elizabeth, it's about a group of people living together in Hope Valley. And
yes,
that's not going to go anywhere. It is a community. And, you know, we get to see two people kind of move forward in a love story, but there's another character, and there's like, who knows what's going to happen with that person? And they've got endless possibilities of what's going to, you know, what can happen with the other character. And, yeah, Hope Valley will continue. And I think, you know, it will be a blow, obviously. But I think it's the best way to move forward. It really, if people start thinking about it, I think it's the best way we're moving forward with the story.
If When Calls the Heart was a show all about Elizabeth's journey to find love, the show would have ended right after season 1, because it was clear she found love at the end of season 1. There's so much more to When Calls the Heart than just Elizabeth's romance and the love triangle. And that's one of the really exciting things about season 8, actually. Our new showrunner, John Tinker, has just done an incredible job exploring all the backstories of our ensemble cast, getting to know everyone even better. And that's really saying something in an 8th season. You think you know these people pretty well, but we really get to know and understand the very fabric of Hope Valley in a way that we haven't in 7 seasons. So it'll be really exciting for people to get to enjoy that.
I love hearing that because, like you just pointed out, it is an ensemble cast. There are so many other characters. Of course, I'm very invested in the 3 of your characters, but I find myself, laughing, smiling, getting joy from the group as a whole. I'm hoping that you guys can share a little bit about not only your own storylines and the challenges that your characters are going to be facing, but Erin, as an executive producer, I'd love if you could share a little bit about what's going on with Clara and Jesse, what's going on with Team Infirmary, Lee and Rosemary.
Where to begin? Clara and Jesse, you would think that we would go the happy honeymooner, newlywed path, but no, actually what they're getting to explore this season is the challenges of becoming newly married. And it isn't all smooth sailing. And for Team Infirmary, they're kind of figuring out next steps. There are opportunities outside of Hope Valley that might pull them apart. And so they're trying to figure out what's the right move for them. Are they in it for the long haul, or was it just a passionate Hope Valley fling between Doctor and Doctor, actually? Wow. And then Lee and Rosemary, so a lot of their journey is about trying to figure out their passions in life, what's going to really fuel them, what they want to do. Rosemary always thought she was going to have a stage built and just continue on her path as an actor, but we find that she goes in another direction. So finding direction would be their theme, I would say.
What about Team Hickam?
Team Hickam is very involved in the oil situation in Hope Valley. And we also discover that he's got a bit of a crush on a lady in town. So seeing how they navigate that is very sweet and chaste and darling. And as far as Elizabeth goes, this was an interesting season for me because, not to focus on it too much, but because of the pandemic, we had to be really extra careful with our little ones on set. So I couldn't really spend the same kind of time in the classroom with all of the students, just in that contained space. It wasn't really going to be safe. So we had to limit the schoolroom scenes, and even the scenes with the little Jacks. Those were tricky, and we had to limit those as well. So I ended up getting to play out a really interesting story with the new Canfield family who come to town, where Elizabeth wants to bring Angela Canfield into the classroom, but because Angela is blind, her mother is very protective of her. And so Elizabeth is facing that challenge of trying to figure out how to convince Minnie to allow Angela to join the classroom.
Is that an emotional kind of back and forth for Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think it's challenging. And there's a really poignant scene that I share with Natasha, who plays Minnie, Angela's mom, where Elizabeth is saying, like, I'll do this. And I understand what you've been through. And Minnie kind of says, you really don't understand. And I think it's an incredibly important lesson that you can think you know what a person is going through, but sometimes you should just sit back and listen and let them share their experience before proceeding as if you have all of the answers. So lots to dig into there in that storyline.
Well said. And I am truly so excited to meet the Canfield family. I know that they're going to be wonderful additions to the town of Hope Valley. Chris, I want to talk to you a little bit about Lucas. What's going on with Gowan Petroleum and the saloon? How's Lucas feeling this season?
Well, I'll say he's feeling pretty great about finally getting his own ride. I'm so happy.
Oh, yes.
Wait, is that a spoiler? Can I say that? Well, I mean, he has to get back to the
think
house.
It's yeah.
You can say that.
I can
It's
say
in the
that?
trailer. Don't you
Okay.
show up on it? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I've seen it, but great. So yeah, Lucas gets a very fine convertible, and so that's great. I feel like we pleaded publicly for that, and it happened this season. So success.
Well, it makes sense. Cool guy needs a cool car.
It does. I totally agree. I think one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest guy in town, shouldn't ask to borrow a ride. He should just go buy one.
Well, stop buying libraries, man. Buy yourself a car.
Yeah.
7 libraries
so-
open up in the town for some reason.
Well, the library business is going great. The car business is great. The oil business turns out to be a bit of a disaster. And I think at the end of season 7, we sense that from Lucas, that he walks into the office and he's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm in way over my head. Hickam actually comes through in quite a strong way for Lucas. He becomes a sort of his right-hand man and confidant, and
Nice.
just a very savvy, knowledgeable, reliable source. But things start to spiral out of control. So I think Lucas finds himself in a position where he doesn't feel like he can trust Gowan. That business relationship is completely crumbled, but he's stretched so thin that he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Does he try and go back to Gowan and say, I need help? Or does he try and power through? Does he just abandon it? I think he's under a lot of stress in the oil department, as well as the lady department.
Wow. Well, Lucas really does wear quite a few hats. So I'm hoping that things go smoothly as he juggles everything. Kevin, let's talk a little bit about Mountie Nathan. Obviously, the season 7 finale cliffhanger was emotional and a lot. How is he feeling in season 8? And maybe talk a little bit about his relationship with Allie.
Yeah, well, like I said before, he gets what happened at the end of season 7 shakes him a little bit, and he refocuses his life on what he wants. That being said, not only does he pursue Elizabeth even stronger, he starts making some big decisions. Without giving any spoilers, he starts making some big decisions what else he wants in his life, and relationships that he wants to really kind of secure and strengthen. And then if it's not Elizabeth, I think the biggest person that he cares about on that show is Allie, of course. So he really strengthens that relationship throughout this season. And another one that he really does that I really like playing is with Bill. Nathan and Bill kind of have this great dynamic together. And I did a lot of work with Jack this year, and I really I really like this kind of buddy cop thing they have going on, where there's been this type of mutual respect kind of eventually ingrained in both of them for each other, that they're both kind of on the same side. But they're both kind of a bit schmarry to each other as well. And there was some really great scenes I got to play with Jack, really funny stuff, I thought. So yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is between you and Jack. I think it was last season, right? Where you're chopping wood. Of course, that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
and it's really windy and your hair's all crazy, and Jack comes over and starts to chop wood with you. It's just so good. One of my favorite
scenes too. It's just such a nice scene where he's clearly there to help out, but in a bro way.
Yeah.
And who does bro better than Jack Wagner?
Hey, bro.
And we've got some great stuff this year too, that he just, Bill really kind of looks after Nathan in a way. And especially in the first, one of the episodes, in the first 4 episodes, he really goes to bat for Nathan over some pretty serious stuff. So if it's not Elizabeth that's on Nathan's mind, it's the other 2 big relationships.
It's
are
Bill.
Ellie and Bill. It's Jack Wagner. No, it's Bill and Allie.
Well, just
maybe not in that order.
no, maybe slightly different.
Yeah.
Well, just based off of those teases alone, I can already tell season 8 is perhaps going to be the best season yet of When Calls the Heart. And I want to congratulate the three of you on, elevating the season from not just 10 episodes, but now we get 12. And I know that the anticipation is going to be building the entire way through. Something that When Calls the Heart does so magically is you always deliver a really powerful and really moving finale. So without spoiling anything, I would love to see your faces, your expressions when you read the season 8 finale script.
What draft?
Final draft. What we're going to see.
Okay. All right.
What was your reaction?
You just want us to make faces at you?
I'd love to see your face, your expression, and then I'd love to know your reaction. Was it surprising? Was it moving? Was it jaw-dropping? Oh, wow. Giving us range. Chris, you look stressed out.
Yeah.
Chris, very stressed out. And Kevin, how did you react when you read it?
Just a happy guy. I'm just like, huh. Oh, yeah. Saw that.
Okay, so to wrap that up then, Chris was really stressed. Kevin was kind of like happy but aloof maybe, and I ran the gamut.
To be fair, I didn't find out until I showed up on the day to shoot it. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing? Yeah.
Why don't I believe that?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I just like to
do
things in the moment. I show up. I'm like, okay.
Kevin's one of those guys doesn't read the scrips. He doesn't prep anything. He just gets there and
just somebody tell me what's
rolls with it.
I'll get there. Yeah.
But on a more serious note, like, what are the emotions and what is the message that you hope the Hardys take away from season 8 and the conclusion of this love triangle that we've been so invested in for now a couple seasons?
Who wants to go?
Well, I would say in Hope Valley, we always aim for everyone to find happiness. That's the goal, happiness. So I think we can count on hopefully everyone having a happily ever after. And I hope we get a season 9 so we can explore these happily ever afters even more. How's that?
That was great. Kevin, Chris, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, well, I think that part of what John Tinker was trying to do in season 8 is create environments or situations within all the different families or dynamics in Hope Valley, or the couples in Hope Valley, that people authentically can relate to and are familiar with in their own life to some degree. So I think he was trying to bring the audience in that way, and I feel like he succeeded based on what I read, and I'm looking forward to watching the season. So I don't know if that's not necessarily the like an ending theme or anything, but just sort of a relatability that people can register with, if that makes sense. And then I agree, Erin, with what you said about finding happiness at the end and maybe fighting for what's important to you. I think there's a lot of that this season.
I love it. Kevin, anything to add?
I don't know, like any good show, there's some things that end on a final note in season 8, but there's a lot of things that are left open. Clearly one of these teams has got an open story of what's going to happen to this person next. So there's lots of stories to be told if we go into season 9, both love stories and just characters in the town. So fingers crossed we get to tell more stories.
Yes, all fingers, all toes crossed. Before we get into a game that I want to play, I just want to ask about a funny moment that occurred last year. Kevin and Chris, you guys went on somewhat of like a cast fishing trip, which looked like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Kevin, you very famously wore your Team Lucas shirt for the occasion.
Well, I needed something to get fish guts on. It was the only shirt that I was willing to.
The truth comes out. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, it's
He's
so nice.
supporting
What am I
Team
gonna wear
Lucas."
that I'm
Right.
It's like, "What's the worst shirt I have?"
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I did not think of it from that perspective. I truly thought that it was Kevin
Oh, it
showing.
was.
I thought it was you showing your support for Team Lucas.
Of course it was. That was the name of the boat was Team Lucas that we went out on.
Objectively, as Kevin, as Chris, not as your characters, if you were friends with Elizabeth in real life and she came to you and said, I've got this dilemma, I've got these two wonderful guys, what advice would you give her? Who would you tell her that she should choose?
I've said it from day one. Drop the guys and go with Team Hickam. Day one. You've got this eligible bachelor just roaming around.
Great sense of humor.
Valley for 7 years.
Listen, Hickam's a great guy, but he has not put in the work that Nathan and Lucas have. So well, is there advice that you would give your good old pal Elizabeth as she's kind of narrowing down and making her final decision?
What did you say earlier? I wouldn't want to be in her shoes. I think.
Yeah, it's a really tough place to be.
Sorry, girl.
Well, I'd say which one makes you the happiest? I don't know which one.
Good advice.
It's tough. I don't know what to say. I mean,
flip a coin.
I feel like there are two great choices. Maybe put Allie and Baby Jack in a room and see if they get along well for an extended period of time.
Oh, that's a litmus test. That's interesting.
Yeah. See if the sibling thing can work out, and if not, head over to the saloon and grab a pint.
Okay. Okay, I won't push you guys any further on that. Thank you for being so wonderful and answering all those questions. And before we wrap up, I just want to ask you guys if you have a message that you want to send the Hardys, people all over the world who have either been invested in the show for years or perhaps over the last year they found it while they were at home and it brought them joy and comfort. Is there any message that you want to send your loyal fans? Erin, let's start with you.
I would just say it is so gratifying to see how our show has resonated with people over the years. And I'm glad to hear that it's brought a lot of people comfort during the crazy 2020 that we had. And I'm just very, very grateful. It is a unique situation, very unique, to be a part of a show that has the kind of longevity that One Calls the Heart has. And as actors, job security is kind of a funny thing. So we're very lucky to be a part of a show that has kept us employed for this many years. Because I think certainly for the three of us, acting is something that isn't just a job. It's something that is very meaningful to us, brings us a lot of joy. And so getting to do the thing that we love every day is truly dependent on the Hardys, because they're the ones who are tuning in and keeping us on the air. So I guess, long story short, I would just say thank you so much to the Hardys, because without them, we wouldn't get to do what we love every day.
Kevin, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I mean, Erin said it's great. It's cliche to be like, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. But it's true. And I think like, especially for Chris and I, kind of coming on, this is our third season. We've joined the show 3 years. I think we should say thank you to the Hardys for kind of welcoming us and then being there with us, whether what team you're on or whatever it is. But just thank you for like letting us be part of this world and kind of accepting us. And I'm happy that we were able to give you a storyline that you guys were able to, continue on with the show after the big changes that happened. It's so nice to join something and allow these new stories and new voice to kind of come through Hope Valley. And thank you for kind of accepting it and giving us your support.
Yeah.
Chris?
I agree with everything that's been said, and I'll add on that I want to say thank you, and I'm very appreciative that the Hardys fan base is, I would say, 99.9% positive in terms of feedback, reactions. I have friends who work on other shows, and some of them go through a real tough time because the amount of negative opinions and whatnot that they get on their social media, it affects them. But people think maybe not, because there's kind of this barrier, this technology is in the way and you're separated. But we see the things that are written and that are put out there, and everything is always just so happy and positive coming from the Hardys. So thank you for being such a warm, loving fan base. And thanks for keeping our show going. And thanks for, like Kevin said, allowing Kevin and I into this world and being so accepting of us, and looking forward to the next season.
You two were hand-selected with great care, and we couldn't have made a better decision in welcoming both of you to When Calls. I think that you have made our show even better, and I also just really love and care about both of you personally, and I'm grateful to have you in my life.
Aww.
Oh.
Likewise.
I love that you guys keep up with what the fans are doing and talking about and saying. I mean, do you see all the time and love that they put into these edits and these photos and the GIFs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen tons.
I love
GIFs are my favorite.
Man too.
I've seen a lot of like the videos to music in the last one. Some of them are like very emotional. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
nice
There's
choice on that
One of
song.
them I thought was real. I was like, I didn't know they got the rights to that song, or Hallmark got the right. I'm like, oh, I was a fan of it. But it fit perfectly. It was amazing. Yeah.
They're great. Yeah.
I love that. All right, before we wrap up, I want to play a very quick rapid fire game with you three. I have appropriately titled it Ready to Date Season 8. Of course, Elizabeth is becoming more and more comfortable with the idea of dating this season. I wanted to get your feedback on popular common date activities, okay? So just blurt out whatever comes to mind, whatever feels right in your heart. So first question, movie on the couch or movie in the theater?
Couch.
During a pandemic or no?
I would say efficient, like pie in the sky, fish your wish.
All right, couch.
Homebodies.
I actually am not a big fan of movies as a date, because you want to talk to the person, get to know the person. I don't want to sit next to them and watch a third thing. You know what I mean?
I don't mind it. It gives you something to
couch
talk about though once you leave, right? I picked the couch as well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's
I feel like it's
benefits.
easier to communicate on a couch, though.
Yeah.
The theater, everyone's going to
quiet. I like going to the theater. And I think you sit and you watch the movie, and then you leave, and it gives you something to talk about for an hour. Maybe you realize you've got something in common with this person, or you don't. I don't know. Anyways, right, I said couch though. It's so funny. Anyways,
that's okay. I think in the last year, all of our mindset goes directly to couch. I'm excited to get back to the movie theaters when it is deemed safe. Dress to impress or keep it casual?
Keep it casual.
Oh, I was going to say dress to impress.
Can I ask, how far along in the dating process are we for these questions? Is this like a first date, or are we talking about like 2 or 3 years in?
I think a first date, just kind of, getting to know someone. Elizabeth is kind of just warm, even though she knows these guys, she's really kind of just warming up to the idea of.
Is this about Elizabeth?
No. This is just in honor. It's just in honor of Elizabeth. It's of course the answer. It's just Elizabeth and dating is the common theme that kind of blends it all together. Okay.
Dress to impress.
Dress to impress. Kevin, dress to impress. Erin, casual.
I just can't get past the sweatpant thing. It's like this and sweatpant with a hole in it, because it's all I wear now. So
wow.
If it brings you any sense of comfort, I'm right there with you.
Yes. Okay. Pretty casual.
Snow or sand?
Sand.
I would go sand eventually. I would go sand over snow.
Eventually.
I like the snow. I think there's great stuff you can do in the winter, but I would prefer the sand. Yeah.
I might be snow.
Yeah?
Oh.
Are you a skier?
Yeah, maybe.
Snowboarder?
Yeah, snowboard. I ski too, actually, but I haven't in a few years. I might get some skis this year. Might get back into it. But currently snowboarding.
Love it. Go out for a meal or make a meal at home?
Go out for a meal.
Go out for a meal.
Chris,
I want to go out for a meal.
Okay.
Well, I
go to my favorite restaurant.
I thought you were definitely going to say make a meal at home. You've got all the ingredients in your backyard.
Well, I love making meals at home, but I'm going back to the parameters of this is a first date.
Yes.
So
Okay.
let's go to a restaurant, dress up, not go to the movie theater. We can come back and watch a movie on the couch after. And then
love it. Go to a concert or go out and do karaoke?
Concert.
I think concert.
I'm not
too.
singing.
Yeah. I would.
You guys can sing. I'm getting sing as far away from that microphone
we
as
did karaoke
possible.
when we went to that thing in Denver. Remember that?
We did karaoke. That was
Yeah,
so,
and you were fantastic. I felt like I was at a concert.
Oh.
yeah.
No.
Can you share what you performed?
Yeah, I have
I don't
video.
remember.
If you want to see it?
Are
I'll
you a
send
video of it? Don't do that.
Oh, we
I feel
definitely.
like Kevin was the guy that he starts singing the karaoke bar and everyone turns around and it's like, huh?
Yeah, they're like, is
Wow.
that Adele?
That guy's really
No,
good.
you know what it was? It was Lionel Richie's
It
Hello.
was hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, would you be so kind as to give us a line right now?
Do you have the track? Do you have
So
the track
good.
right now?
Just imagine it in your head.
I see.
Give it a-
It's
give us
the
a hello.
thing. If the track's not on, then I just. You know.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up.
No, don't.
Okay, Erin, you can send it to me and we'll include it in post because I think the
No.
Hardys would love to see.
I can't. I really can't because it's
Had to
we
be there.
protect each
Had to be
other.
there.
Like if I send you that video of Kevin singing
You're gonna
Lionel
open up
Richie
a whole
in a dive bar in Denver, who knows what he'll then send you of me? Like we just
Exactly.
can't start down this path.
What a
Okay,
great
so-
video. Kevin singing in a Lionel Richie in a dive bar in Denver. That's so great.
Okay, so just to regroup, what did we vote? Everybody voted for a concert?
Well,
Oh, I did.
I did.
yeah, yeah, yes, I would vote concert.
Can you throw out an artist?
I really love Gabe Dixon band. That's a fave.
Okay.
Gabe Dixon.
Chris?
Oh man. I would go see anything at this point. After a year.
Please.
I don't know. I mean,
Kevin?
staring at.
You don't need to go anywhere though, Chris, because you've got such an incredible record collection. Like, what's
That's
your go-to
true.
record?
I'm staring at them right now, and I'm like, who would I want to go see? A lot of them are dead.
You know who I've been listening to a lot on just on like on Spotify is who sings Deo from
How does it go, Kevin?
what's that?
How does it go?
Like Deo. I'm not gonna
What's
sing Deo.
the next bit though?
Harry
Belafonte?
Yes, I've been listening to a lot of Harry Belafonte lately.
Love it. The
Pretty
classics.
great. Yeah, pretty great.
Okay, and my last one. Split a bottle of wine or split a dessert?
Bottle of wine. That's the same
Right.
thing, isn't it?
Well, it's not dessert wine, not ice wine, but I want both. I don't know. Wine.
Yeah.
Have your cake and eat it too? Okay,
I'll go
Erin?
with wine.
Dessert, I think.
Sweet too?
I think
Sweet.
like a like chocolate cake or
Chocolate brownie.
you know when they okay, Deidre. Remember, you know when they bring out like warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies at the end of the meal?
Yes. In a skillet. Oof.
With
Oh,
ice cream on
really?
top.
Yeah, oh my goodness, you're really elevating things
And a little
now.
mint sprig.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And Kevin?
Wine. I'll do the wine. You keep your ice cream. Yeah.
Love it. I appreciate you guys playing along. Before we wrap up, Erin, do you want to invite the Hardys and let them know when they can catch the season 8 premiere of When Calls the Heart?
Sure, Hardys. Make sure you watch the season 8 premiere of When Calls the Heart only on Hallmark Channel, The Heart of TV, on Sunday, February 21st at 9 p.m. 8 Central.
I cannot wait. Congratulations on yet another amazing season. Fingers crossed for season 9, you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.